Before we move on to origins, a lot of unanswered questions remain after the conclusion of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, and the introduction of Breeze. Most notably, we have to find out what happened to Rak. I mentioned in my previous video that just before the camera went black, I believe Kanan saw Unique approaching through the window directly behind Rak. Rak's Unique shot, I believe, was the one we heard. Given that Unique has repeatedly informed Rak that he is targeting her, it would make the most sense for him to be the one who kills her. Yes, I am aware of the behind-the-scenes footage that showed Lou, Rak, Jukebox and Marvin seated at the dinner table. However, that certain appearance strongly suggests that it is a hallucination. It could be very similar to when Monet had a dream sequence while in a coma in Power Book 2. It's possible that the dream sequence is the reason Patina Miller, an actress, was seen on set last year. I believe the first episode of the new season will be a flashback, similar to the previous season's premiere, where we'll see where Marvin, Lou and Jukebox were leading up to the final scene with Kanan and Rak. Rak's death could be explained by the fact that someone like Jukebox or Marvin might have arrived just in time before Kanan pulled the trigger. Rak might survive until the final episode if that's the case, and then we might get a cliffhanger ending where we don't know whether she died or fled the south side. If she survives, it could open the door for a potential cameo appearance in Tariq's next spin-off. Rak is currently in her 30s in Raising Kanan, and while she'd be in her late 60s to early 70s in the current Power timeline, I believe she could still offer valuable advice to Tariq about running his own operation. Raising Kanan began in the first half of the early 1990s when Kanan was finishing his sophomore year, for those who are unsure of the current timeline. The second season picked up at the start of his junior year after he spent the summer with his Aunt Deb. It transitioned into the following year during one of the later episodes, as confirmed by Jukebox discussing a movie that was released at that time. The third season took place entirely in the first half of that year, and the fourth picked up during the summer. The latest date shown was in the fall, when Jukebox looked at Famous's obituary. That would make Jukebox around 18 years old, as revealed by Marvin, while Kanan is about 17 and entering his senior year. After being introduced to Breeze and hearing Snaps talk about using Unique's Italian connect, Phil Russo, until they no longer need Unique, this sets the stage for a potential conflict. I could see Breeze taking out Unique on orders from Snaps and Pop. Also, Lou killing Unique is not out of the question. Breeze will probably tell Kanan what she hears Snaps and Pop talking about Crystal's death over the phone. Breeze is related to Snaps and Pop, but because he follows the street code, I believe he would support Kanan's desire for vengeance. Breeze might want to remove Snaps and Pop to take control and call the shots in the south side. Breeze's character and background will likely be fleshed out in the upcoming season. Snaps described him as intelligent and business-minded. I think we will see Breeze's obsession with the game show Jeopardy and how he organizes his life around a strict daily routine, just like Kanan as an adult, who was mentioned in the first Power series. Breeze will begin to influence Kanan, leading him to wear jewelry and designer clothes. Kanan will start making more money and leveling up. However, I think some of his crew might get killed or back out after something major happens, leaving Kanan short-handed. This could be where Tommy Egan comes in. In my opinion, Kanan might encounter Tommy on the streets, possibly while Tommy is spray painting graffiti. Not long ago, the actor who played young Tommy in the post-credit scene of Power, Ethan Kutkoski, posted a video from what looked like New York, standing in front of a building similar to the one where Crystal was killed. I don't believe that the fact that video has since vanished from his page is a coincidence. However, Ghost's father is likely to be the first significant new character introduced, in my opinion. Lou might decide that it is impossible for him to run his nightclub and concentrate on music at the same time. As a result, he might decide to sell it to Ghost's father and Uncle Gabe, who would turn it into a jazz bar after hours. Kanan, unaware of the sale, could show up one day and run into both Tommy and Ghost. In the season finale, that most likely would occur. Showrunner Sacha Penn has already stated that he won't strictly follow the original timeline and ages established in Power. He also recently hinted that Tommy and Ghost will appear in the upcoming season. Tommy and Ghost are logical next steps now that Breeze has been introduced. Some fans believe Ghost already appeared last season as the kid who stole from the corner store and found Famous's body. But in my opinion, a major character like Ghost will get a proper introduction, just like Breeze did, rather than appearing randomly without dialogue. Additionally, it is possible that D-Wiz's brother will make his debut in the following season. Over the course of the previous seasons, we have witnessed Lou's ups and downs, and while he currently appears to be on the right path, in Power, this frequently indicates that tragedy is imminent. It probably won't occur to Lou. I suspect this will happen either during the mid-season break or the season finale. If D-Wiz's crew ambushes Lou, or if Stefano and the mob pursue him, Pranessa could also get caught in the crossfire. After we saw Phil Russo tell Unique that Stefano survived the stabbing, there's a strong chance Stefano will blame Rack and Marvin for the fire at his fish store, especially after he cut ties with them at the end of last season. I wouldn't be surprised if Stefano becomes an informant and snitches on Marvin. Marvin's death has been building for a while. Last season had several close calls, but he survived. If he survives this season too, I could see him heading to Washington, D.C. with Jukebox. I think Jukebox will likely be around when Tommy and Ghost are introduced. Tommy referred to her as crazy in the first Power series, so it's likely that they met before she went to Baltimore. There may be a time jump next season. If not, Sean will most likely be born in Power Book Origins. Now, you might be wondering why we have to wait so long for the new season. Well, we have to remember that Power Book Origins hasn't even started filming. It is possible that it will premiere a few months after the conclusion of the final season of Raising Kanan. I expect a trailer for Power Book Origins will drop around the time Tariq's next spin-off premieres, probably next summer. One thing is certain, the final season of Raising Kanan will have to live up to the hype, especially after Breeze's debut. I'm curious to hear your early predictions. Let me know in the comments. The very popular series on my channel will be returning soon, and there's some major information I've known for over a year that I've never shared, so stay tuned. I appreciate your viewing. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things Power. See you next time.